Okay, what do you think? So there's always, like, let's be real. We all know there's a lingering joke of like, it's your last night of freedom and the guys should go to strip clubs. What do you think about that?
Ooh.
Is it a yes or no?
I think.
Hey Queens, it's Kelsey and Grace back with the Wedding Hive.
Giving you the tea and all the buzz in the wedding world.
Let's jump right in.
Yeah, Monday I went to a spring training game and it was super fun, but it was so insanely hot. It was like 91 degrees and we always get the lawn seats because I just like to walk around and get the snacks. I don't actually watch the game. I don't know do you actually watch baseball games?
I know nothing about baseball.
Thank you. They're just like it's just for like the environment and to just have like a fun time. So I went and did that on Monday, which is fun. And then the weekend, I didn't do much, but you had your wedding and I need you to tell the listeners what happened at your wedding on Saturday.
It was an absolutely beautiful wedding. Mm-hmm. You got to come hang out with me. There was a beer burro. There was an elote cart. Oh, I'm obsessed with beer burros.
Yes.
What else? It was such a gorgeous wedding. Their layout was beautiful. Their signage was beautiful.
Their first dance had me in tears.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. They did such a good job.
Incredible. Mm-hmm. Absolutely nothing went wrong until the shuttle bus decided to take its own directions and shortcut to the venue and got stuck in a dirt lot. I don't even know. They turned on the wrong way and completely jacked it up. So I got a phone call after the alcohol had shut down and the music had turned off and they were stuck.
Wrapped up.
So it was an experience, to say the least. Covered in dirt. I have never dug out a shuttle bus, a 56 passenger shuttle bus, but now I can check that off my list.
I know. Now you can check it off your list that you did that.
Yeah. My husband didn't believe me when I came home, like covered in dirt.
Oh my gosh.
My black clothes were brown.
What were you doing?
Yeah. He's like, what is happening with you?
I'm so dead.
That was my
Saturday. Your crazy weekend.
But bride and groom left before the bride and groom left before the guests did. So they honestly had no idea about it because they had a getaway vehicle. Yeah. So they had no idea.
It's fine.
So
the guests are fine.
Yeah.
As long as the bride and groom didn't know.
Yep. And everybody was happy.
Okay. And that's all that matters. And the day went smoothly besides that. So,
Yep.
But welcome back, you guys, to our second episode of The Wedding Hive. We hope you guys enjoyed our first episode. Today's episode is going to be all about budgeting. We know how I was thinking about it today. Money is one of those topics that's so hard and awkward to talk about, whether it's in your daily life, whether it's at your job, weddings. So we're here to talk about budgeting and, kind of what you should maybe spend money on, what you shouldn't, the timeline and all that good stuff. So Kelsey's going to start us off. So what do you do?
So you're newly engaged. You are getting ready to figure out what you want, pick out details. But my first tip of advice to you is to first create your wedding email. And second is start a Pinterest board.
Yes.
So your wedding email, that's where you're going to want to funnel everything in through. So all of those emails are coming to one place. You don't want it to get mixed up with your mail and your school and your work and all of those details. Put it all into one place. That way also, once you are married and you have collected your photo album from your photographer, you don't have to get spammed any longer on all of the wedding things. So first thing I would say is start a wedding email. So everything goes into that spot. And second is that Pinterest board. So even if nothing makes sense in your Pinterest board, you have all of the randoms. You haven't figured out what style you want, what you're looking for, what your design and your mood board looks like. This at least gives you an idea of what you're looking at. You can easily remove things, but nothing sucks worse than finding something great on Pinterest. You think about it, you don't pin it, and then you can't find it in the future.
Yes.
So Pinterest boards and emails are like starting tip 1.
I think that's so smart. I remember when you told me I'd already been married, obviously, and you said the wedding email, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I not think of that? Because there's definitely that time you have, the emails from the bartenders, from vendors, from your coordinator, wedding venue, and it's like, oh my gosh, I have not a specific email, and everything's just out of order. So I love that tip.
And then you get the email from your loan officer on your student loans, and they're like, please make a payment. And you're like,
no. It's like that. It's like that after payment text you get, payment due into it. And I'm like, no, wait, what? No.
Correct. So that would be my first tip in starting the process. Obviously, you want to start your guest list. You want to kind of have a rough idea of how many guests you're inviting.
Yep. That's a big part of the budget is guest count. I remember we booked for 100, and by the time we got down to it, we were down to 55, and it makes a big difference. So I think it's smart though to have, your budget set, because let's be real, you can't start the planning process until you have that. And also I think a big smart thing, this is some of my opinions. I think the top thing priority wise for budget is venue, and, kind of taking your time to go and look at different spots, see what fits your budget, see what fits your aesthetic. Because some venues have inclusive packages, some venues it's like, this is the space and that's all you get. And then you have to put into budget of you spending everything else. So I think venue is like big to start with.
Yes. And you can't lock in your date without picking your venue.
Exactly.
Because not every venue has your date open. So being flexible, having an idea of the season that you're looking for, maybe the day of the week, but being stuck on one specific day is going to limit your options in picking your venue because many venues book out.
I know. I feel like it's crazy. You'll go and look. I mean, I only looked at one venue, but I feel like I hear so many brides saying, oh, we're starting the process and we were going to wait a little bit. And then they go and tour these venues and they're like, oh, we don't have availability till 2027.
Yep.
And you don't think about that. You think, oh, it's going to be open. It's fine. But there's so many people getting married.
Correct.
It's insane. So.
Yep. And realistically, there's only 4 Saturdays in a month. So
oh yeah, that's
4 times
true.
12, that what gives you 64?
I'm terrible
is
at
my math, right?
Mental math is not for
24, 48 that gives you 48 Saturdays.
Yep.
Ish. I don't know where I got
That's
64
so
from.
I don't know. I know. We said we're podcasters, not mathematicians.
Correct.
So
Don't test me on my math.
don't test us.
And don't tell my children.
I know, right? Oh my gosh. Don't tell my sister. She's a math teacher. But I'm always saying she's a math teacher, not me. So
Correct. But when you are looking, you think, oh, I have all of these options. Well, you limit it when you're stuck to one day. So don't be stuck on that one day. The different ways that you can look at paying for your wedding, you can take out a loan. You can open up a credit card. One of my favorite suggestions to couples, and I don't know how many actually take this up, but it is picking up a second job. If you do not want to go into marriage with additional debt, go get a part-time job as a barista at Starbucks. Go do DoorDash. Go do Uber Eats. Go donate plasma. Plasma pays a lot. Did you donate
Have you ever
plasma?
done that?
Yes, I've donated plasma.
I've thought about it when I was like super broke. And then I was like, wait, I don't know if this is, not that it's not legitimate, but I was like, oh my God, am I really going to do this? But
yes, I've donated plasma.
I'm here for it.
It's not for the week. It is.
Because don't you have to be there like for a long time? Or how long?
The first time, it's a forever process because you have to go through all these health checks.
Oh, right.
After that, it's like in and out. It maybe takes 40 minutes. It depends. As long as you're hydrated, your blood will pump faster. If you're not hydrated, you will feel like absolute garbage.
Oh,
so,
I bet.
Yes, I've donated plasma. It pays very well. I do not currently, it's been a long time since I've donated plasma, but that is a great, easy option. As long as your health provider approves it.
Yeah.
We are not medical experts.
Exactly.
We are not telling everybody to go donate plasma. But second jobs is another option. And then the biggest one is family support.
We love that.
Family support. Grace, did you pay for your wedding or did you get support from family?
We got support from family. I always knew that obviously there's a lot that comes into traditions. It used to be, of course, that the parents of the bride always paid for the wedding. And as me and my now husband sat down and were planning, and I said, that's not going to happen. Like, we're in 2025. It's way more expensive than it used to be. And I said, I think we need to have a talk with not only my parents, but your parents and see if we can get help and support. Because realistically, I'm very thankful for both of them because there's no way we would have had a wedding without them because It's very expensive, but we basically, I think a big thing when it comes to asking for help is we literally went to lunch with both our parents and sat down. We had definitely already decided we wanted to book the venue. We kind of knew the upfront cost, and we just were like, can we split it 3 ways? Thankfully, that conversation went over well. And we just did it that way. And then after the venue up cost and the inclusive package, everything after things you had on like videography, photographer, flowers, and all that stuff, it kind of was just here and there. We would pay for some stuff. My parents did, his parents. So it all worked out. But I think a big thing too, if you're sitting down and asking for help, and I feel a lot of couples probably feel pressured in, is when, oh, well, they're paying, so if they want something, then that's what has to happen. Or if they want XYZ, then, we have to because they're helping us. And that was another thing when we sat down and talked was, if you guys can help, thank you. But at the end of the day, whatever happens or we decide on, it's what John and I want. It's not what you guys want. Of course, we love we want opinions, and of course want you there for like planning. But I didn't want it to be a situation that I feel like so many brides and couples are in, where they get to their wedding day and because they got help, it's not what they wanted.
Yep.
And I didn't want that for myself. And I think it's just having that firm and just standing on your ground and being like, this is my day and I love and appreciate you guys, but that's what's going to happen at the end of the day.
Yep.
So that's what we ended up doing, and it worked out really well for us.
I think that's so important. I've sat in many meetings with brides and their families, and it is a all-out war because there's disagreements. Somebody wants it this way, somebody else wants it that way. Well, we paid for it. And all of those conversations could have been avoided had they had those earlier conversations and laid down the groundwork. So some tips to having these conversations with your family. Have that sit-down meeting and discuss it, lay it all out. Have a very clear understanding of the expectation and wishes. Another tip of advice, not to bride and groom, but for those people who are paying for it. The first one is, and I tell couples this all the time, are weddings in today's world are not what they were 30 years ago. 30 years ago, people would get together at like the town hall. They would get together at a park. They would do a potluck, different elements like that. It was very different. So when we sit down with parents and we hear it come out of their mouth and they go, oh my gosh, when I got married 30 years ago, and I go, I know, correct. But times
drives me nuts.
have changed. That's not how it is anymore. So understand that for the parents, you are not alone. Many parents of newly engaged couples are feeling that. The second tip of advice that I have is if you have somebody outside of your parents who, maybe aren't forking up a dollar amount, but say like, we want to pay for, let's say, a string quartet. We would love to gift you a string quartet for your wedding. Have the couple contract it, but you pay it directly. You pay that invoice, you handle it directly, pay it straight to the quartet instead of giving the money to the couple for 2 reasons. One, the quartet price might have changed a bit, which then will be financially obligated on the couple. My second reason is there are many horror stories out there where bride and groom decided last minute, let's not get a string quartet, even though Aunt Cindy paid for our string quartet. Nix the string quartet, pocket Aunt Cindy's money. Aunt Cindy shows up at the wedding and goes, where's the string quartet I paid for? And they're like, we spent it on the bachelor party. That causes horrific scenarios down the road. Christmas will never be the same with Aunt Cindy.
Yeah.
So, and that also takes the pressure off the bride and groom to have to go through like that invoicing side. So those are my two suggestions for people who are paying for it, not talking to bride and groom. Back to bride and groom. I think what you're saying is perfect. Have those conversations, lay it out to those people that are helping cover it. There was actually a poll in 2019 that was done by Wedding Wire, and it said that couples pay for 45% of the wedding, parents pay for 46%, and 8% are paid by another party. So if that's a family member, a friend, a godparent, that is what the statistics are showing from 2019.
Wow. That's crazy. And I think too, like you talked about them spending money on the bachelor party. I think that's another cost a lot of times brides and grooms maybe don't think about. You think it's always, oh, we're getting married and then we're going to the bachelor party. But then it's like, oh, wait, we have to pay for the Airbnb and then we have to take off work. And then I think a cost that I kind of forgot about, I of course wanted to spoil my girls who were coming because, you know, it is an upfront cost for them and, you know, they don't have to come, but they took the time to come. So I put like bachelor bags like together, which I think are super cute and fun. Bridal proposal boxes was another cost as well. But I think there's other costs that go into it that you forget about a lot of times. What do you think is like the main costs that people don't think about when planning weddings, or like maybe something that comes up and they think, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about this?
Yeah. So there's so many different pieces of it. Mock floral trials. If you want to see your table layout with all of your florals, that costs money. Another one is tastings. Sometimes tastings aren't free.
Oh yeah, like
food tasting or cake tastings. Sometimes those tastings cost money. Another one is you forget the cost of nails, hair, spray tans, waxes. All of those things are another financial piece. Not everybody puts nails into their budget because some people do their nails every 2 weeks, 3 weeks as it is. And so that's just part of their normal lifestyle. But if you're doing something special for the wedding, you want to add that cost in. What about you? Was there any of them that you forgot?
I think the biggest cost that I did not think of. So when I got my wedding dress, I was in between sizes. And of course, they're always like, get the bigger size because it's easier to work with more material and if you don't have enough material, then it makes it way harder. So I got the bigger size and I went to my dress alterations appointment. Me and my mom, my sister, we all drove there. And at the end of it, like when we finished paying, it was another $1,300 just for dress alterations.
No way.
Yes.
Which you didn't account for.
Which I didn't account for. God bless my mother. She paid for it because she was kind of like, oh, anything that entails in the dress. And I remember just being like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad.
Sorry, Mom, I went over budget.
Sorry, Mom, I love you so much. But it's just, I mean, I didn't really have an option. I didn't want to get a smaller one and then have to try and lose 10 pounds and hopefully it fits. So it was like I had to do the bigger size. And then I think with my train alone for the bustle, that was $300 of it because I had 12 different points on my dress to bustle it. And then that's another cost that I was like kind of annoyed about that we ended up spending because the day of the wedding comes and we're done with the bridal photos. And so they're like, okay, let's go in the bridal suite. We'll bustle the dress and then we'll do grand entrance. And I'm like, okay, cool. My husband's like best friend is like blasting music and like we're trying to obviously like have fun. And my sister's getting so frustrated because if you've gotten married yet or if you don't, or if you're about to, please practice the bustle. Because it was us 10 to 15 minutes trying to get it to bustle. And my sister's just like, I can't think. Everyone's like screaming and being loud. And our coordinator comes in and she's like, hey, not a big deal, but we're like just running 20 minutes behind. And I just said, F it. I was like, let's just go. You know, we'll figure it out. So like came out in my grand entrance and did my first dance without a bustle. And I was kind of holding the train. So just something you didn't like think about what happened the day of the wedding.
Yep.
And I remember I was about to do my dance with my dad and my photographer. She was like, why didn't you just tell me? She's like, I know how to bustle it. Her and the site photographer bustled it in 2 seconds. And I'm like, kind of wish I would have said that earlier, but you know what? It was all good. So
bustling. Let's talk bustling advice. When you were at your last alteration appointment, video record your alterations person who put those bustles together, record them bustling your dress. That way, on wedding day, whoever is in charge of that bustle, They have it on camera.
Yeah. And it's funny because we did do that and we had the video, but like, if you're the one bustling the day, this is no hate to my sister. I love you so much. But maybe watch it a few times, during the leading up to the week before, watch it a few times so you can get an idea. I mean, some bustles are easy and people just do the one bustle and you're good. But if you have like a more intricate one, please spend time learning how to do it, because that was one thing that was kind of a bummer, but didn't kill the day, but it was just something that came up that you don't think of. So.
I think 12 is the most I've ever bustled.
I think mine was like 15.
Yeah.
It was insane, but it's just, it's all good, but it's something that happened, and that the wedding dress alterations was a big cost I did not think of. So
let's go back and talk about parties, because I have actually a personal story.
Okay, let's hear it.
I've not been given permission to share this story, but I think we're so exiled from this bride that I don't really care.
Okay.
So my sister-in-law was in a wedding and we were all friends of the bride. In a sense, it was like the family community is friends with bride. We talked about her wedding leading up to her wedding day for months and months on end. How's the planning going? How's this going? How's that going? My sister-in-law was one of her bridesmaids. Mm-hmm. So my sister-in-law calls me one day and she goes, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, what is the issue? And she says, the bride is planned her bachelorette trip to Hawaii for 10 days and is expecting me to upfront the cost of the airfare, the split hotel, and there's all these excursions we're doing. I've told her I can't afford this trip. And she has said, if I'm not willing to go, then I'm kicked out of her bridal party. What do I do?
I'd be like, well, it was nice knowing you.
And I said, I don't know how to tell you how to pay for 10 days in Hawaii. You can't donate enough plasma in the next
You don't have enough time.
You don't have
enough plasma in the meantime.
Yeah, your body will run out of blood.
I haven't even gone that nice a vacation with my husband,
Correct.
Let alone someone's bachelorette party.
So she had to kindly decline. And I said, I don't know what to tell you besides like, no. And she goes, I've already paid for the dress. I've put in money towards like the engagement party. And I'm like, that's kind of weird because usually bridesmaids don't pay for the engagement party, but whatever. I just like completely let that one go out one ear out with the other. But she got like uninvited to the wedding, and then we got an uninvited, like we were not allowed at this wedding because she refused. So let's talk about bridal party financial expectations. And honestly, don't be such a bridezilla that you uninvite people to your wedding with like a formal invitation. If you are going to be that level of a bridezilla, take a deep breath, step back, and think again.
I'm very, if she was to do that and be like, hey guys, I'm okay with that, but it's, she shouldn't be upset if people don't come.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like she can be like, hey, I'm planning my bachelorette party in Hawaii, blah, blah. If you can't come, it's all good. If you want to go that extravagant, then you should be mindful that people are going to decline. Mm-hmm. And if the expectation that everybody shows up,
then you need to cover some of those costs.
Yeah. I'd be like, if you want to pay for me, love to come, but it shouldn't be, that's insane. 10 days in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just still mind blown by that.
Bridal party. So we are talking everything from the Be My Bridesmaid cute invitation.
Boxes.
Yep, the proposal bag. We are talking dresses. We are talking matching pajamas because those are a thing. We're talking parties. You name it. Let's talk bridal party. How did you navigate that with your bridal party?
So thankfully we did siblings and then one friend. So it definitely was easier on the side to ask for them to pay for their stuff. As when it comes to dresses, shoes, hair, makeup, day of, and then bachelorette party, everyone's gonna have their own opinion. My opinion was, if I'm asking you to be in my bridal party, it was kind of also like ask them, but then also like, hey, there's going to be the cost on your end of dresses and all that good stuff. But I think it's more easy to ask for your bridesmaids to pay for stuff if you give them enough time.
Correct.
I think that's where it gets really like misconstrued and like toxic and like, oh, you're making me pay for all this stuff. But I asked my bridesmaids, I think over a year in advance. Thankfully, we booked our venue so early and I already knew like my siblings and then my one friend that I wanted to ask. And I was very quick with booking like hair and makeup, sending them what dresses, what shoes, and just constantly being in a text thread of like, hey guys, you know, reminder, if you guys have like a great work week or something, or you have a, you know, extra paycheck and you feel comfortable, you want to send me money then. That's how I kind of navigated it. And then when it came to bachelorette party and bachelor party, we actually did a joint one. So it was definitely on the cheaper side, in my opinion. And we just drove down to Rocky Point and we rented a beach house and everyone paid their way as well. So but then I did, you know, the proposal boxes. I gave everyone bags at the bachelorette party. I got everyone gifts. I got everyone the matching pajamas. So there was stuff that I paid for as well. But that's kind of my opinion and how I feel about it and how I also went about it when I had my bridal party. So
nice. I love it.
What do you think? What's your opinion on like?
I think if you give them enough time, they can be responsible for hair, makeup, dresses, dress alterations. Cause even bridesmaids dresses need to be altered sometimes.
Yep.
I was in a wedding and mine needed to be altered. So I get it. That's a cost. But it's the gratitude. It's those gifts that you gave that said, thank you for being part of this. Depending on your location. I mean, we're so lucky here in the Valley because you go south, you have Mexico. You go north, you have Vegas. You go west, you have California. So there's plenty of like local things.
Yep.
I've also seen really cute bachelorette parties where people book an Airbnb in, a town
Scottsdale,
over.
super popular.
Yep. Or up north in the mountains and the girls just want to hike and have fun. So you don't have to have a traditional bachelor party where you're wilding out and the Chippendale strippers show up. You can do it
actually,
however
we need to talk about that. We need to talk about that.
Your girls want it.
Yeah.
What part?
Okay, what do you think? So there's always like, let's be real. We all know there's a lingering joke of like, it's your last night of freedom and the guys should go to strip clubs. What do you think about that?
Ooh.
Is it a yes or no?
I think, wow, you hit me with a good one.
Do you want me to get my opinion? Why you think? I'm just kidding.
No, if there is trust built in this relationship and you can trust your partner to be able to go into a strip club, have fun, throw some dollars, infidelity isn't a situation that you guys are concerned about, have been faced with in your relationship, go have fun because there is that confidence in that relationship. If that is a boundary within the relationship and that line has potentially been crossed, if it's with actual cheating, if it's with, sliding into the wrong person's DM, if there's been previous flirting, I would not even entertain the conversation because it's too much of it is a tiny crack in the door that can lead to so much disaster. And why get that close to it? Don't get that close to the line if that line is going to cause a catastrophic result.
Yep.
So that's my opinion.
Yeah. Mine's a little opposite.
Go for it.
I'm completely anti strip club. I would even go as far as to say I was like, if you go, then it's not going to happen. Like I don't know. I just don't see the point in going. Like if I love someone and I want that with them, why would I want to see anyone like else like that? And I know some people are like, who cares? It's a strip club and who cares? Like I love my wife or and that's totally fine. I'm just completely opposite because I know he would be upset if I went to one and then I know I would be very upset if he went to one.
Yeah.
But I think it's just, and it's not that we don't have trust or like anything between each other, but it's just like I don't see the point.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Well, and if that's a discussion that you've had and that's, like a safeguard you've put into place.
Yep.
There it is. It's an easy one.
Yeah.
Don't even entertain it.
Exactly. So that's mine. But
I like it.
I know, me too.
All right. You want some of the breakdown of the costs?
I do. I think people would like to hear that.
Okay, so here is a rough estimate of breaking down your cost. So 45% should be going to venue, catering, rentals. 5 to 15% is your planner / coordinator. 12% of your budget should be going to photo and video. 10% is your music, entertainment. 10% is florals and decor. 6% is your miscellaneous items, your stationery, cake, favors, anything miscellaneous. This does not go into the space of those more costs that we were talking about earlier. This is we are writing this into our budget. And then 9% is wedding attire.
Oh, that's true. I mean, just like I said.
Yes.
The alterations. And when we were looking for his suit, oh my gosh. I mean, we didn't spend that much, but when we went to other shops, it's like, oh, custom off the bat's $1,000. I'm like, oh my gosh. I think that was another cost that we didn't even think about. Like we knew his would be, of course expensive, but I was like shocked to see that.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So because everything is so expensive, we have some tips on how to save.
Yes, we do.
So first tip for savings is look for an all-inclusive. That is your venue. It can have everything, including your tables, your chairs, your DJ, your in-house catering, your bartending, your cake. It could include decor and florals. It might not. Every all-inclusive is different. So check out what's available in your area to look for some of those all-inclusive packages. Is that what you said you and John did?
Yes, all-inclusive package. We took some things off and like switched some things out, but I think that's just the way to go with the wedding venues. I know a lot of times when we were planning, I was feeling, I felt less stressed because I knew some of those things were already taken care of, like already giving vendors for like catering and things like that. And then of course, like there's the outside cost of, photographers, videographers and flowers and things like that. So, I think when it comes to what you should spend and not spend your money on, do you have like what you should and what you shouldn't spend your money on? Like one of each. Like what do you think is the most top priority and one that's like, we don't even need to spend money on that?
I think every couple is different just because the vision is different. I think something that is so worth spending money on, let's move the big pieces, the venue, let's move catering, let's move wedding dress. Those are big, no-brainers. Yeah. Something worth spending good money on is a good photographer.
I 100% agree.
Photographer is who's going to capture those pictures forever and ever and ever. You do not want to spend money on some brand new photographer, somebody who's up in, an aspiring wedding photographer to be. You want a quality wedding photographer.
Yeah.
Venue, obviously, you want it to match your style, your vibe, what you're going for. People do talk about food, so make sure you have good food at your wedding.
We want good wedding food.
We want good
Everyone,
wedding.
Please, we're begging.
Nobody wants to be bloated.
Literally, yes. Good
because you had crap wedding food.
I know. I think that's a big, that was something that was important to me was the food. But it's funny because we literally, leading up to our wedding, every meeting we had, we said, we want to eat our wedding food. Everyone always says, you never eat your wedding food, the bride and groom. I feel like everyone's heard that. I kept hearing that. The day of the wedding comes. We sit down, they serve us first, obviously with the bride and groom. Photographer and videographer come up maybe a minute later. Hey guys, if you want sunset photos and video, we gotta go now. And we just look at each other and I said, can I eat 2 bites? And so we ate, went and did the photos, came back, and the catering staff was amazing. They're like, oh, we're so sorry. We didn't realize you guys were leaving right away. We can get you fresh plates. And I'm like, oh no, it's fine. Because then it's
So then did you eat?
No. I think I ate a shrimp and then like a roll and that was it. And it was funny, but because it's the next thing okay, now it's time for dance with your dad, and then it's time and then let's start the reception. So
I'm a psycho and I make couples eat because I know how much alcohol is going into their system.
No, literally.
And the last thing I want is a vomiting bride. I am a crazy one. I'm like, here, I'll spoon feed you.
You're like, here.
Please eat.
You said, please.
I'll stand at the table and be like, shoo, shoo.
Yeah. You said,
My
everyone leave
family
them alone.
members who keep coming over,
Well,
I
that
need them
too.
to eat.
Everyone comes up to you and wants
Correct.
to talk to you. And then it's just like, okay, which you get. But I think that's something else I heard another bride talk about that I was listening to. And she's like, we loved that everyone kept coming up to us, because they want to say like, congratulations. But there was a certain point where we're like, can you guys like get the vibe? Like we want to just sit for a second, like by ourselves. We want to enjoy our food, So I think a tip for guests, be mindful also of the bride and groom on the day of the wedding. We know you want to see us and talk to us. There's hours and, the entire hours of the wedding that you can talk to them. Give them a second to eat and just come down to earth, like have a second, half the time it's us taking photos and for the last hour, our feet hurt. We just want to sit for a second. So that's
and if your venue allows it and has a safe space, feel free to have your planner or your coordinator pencil in private dinner. I've put in private dinner for couples multiple times. I had one bride who gets very overstimulated very easily. And she said, I won't eat because everybody's going to overwhelm me and then I'm not going to be hungry. So we put it in the timeline that they were eating away from the main reception space. We tucked them away. They ate. She was happy. They got to take a breather and then they came back out and joined the party.
Smart.
So another tip to savings is DIY decor and florals. So if your venue allows it, wherever you're getting married at, you're welcome to DIY your florals. Things that are great is Costco has amazing florals. Trader Joe's has another great floral option. So DIY your florals, that's fun. As far as decor goes, check out those Facebook groups in your area. I know Arizona has AZ Bride to Be. They are constantly begging people to
take their stuff.
Candles, welcome signs, seating charts, you name it. They used it. They don't want it to be stored in their garage for the next 10 years.
We have so many candle bases.
Correct.
It's like insane.
So DIY those things.
Yeah.
Amazon is great. If you have an IKEA near you, IKEA has great things.
Yes.
So DIY that. The other tip is to drop your guest count.
That does save you a lot.
It saves you so much money.
It saves you so much.
Because here are the numbers. If you invite 250 people to your wedding and the average food cost is $80 per plate per person, that is $20,000 in dinner.
That's insane.
In just food.
Oh my gosh.
So how much do you love all 250 of those people?
Do people still have that big of weddings, do you feel like?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I feel like I've seen like more like 150 and under, but like my sister's wedding was like 250.
Yep.
But she got married in 2012 and everything was
Yes.
way cheaper back then.
Very large weddings are still a thing.
Okay.
300 to 400 people. I've married into the Hispanic culture. When I attend weddings,
You're there partying all night, baby.
There are so many people.
There's so many.
And I'm like, where's the bride?
You're like, wait,
Who's
where
even
is she?
getting married here?
No, literally.
Because there's so many people.
They love,
So it's a real thing. But
family culture.
Down that. And then the last piece of advice is find the happy middle between your expectation and your budget.
I love that because I think society has made it so bad with like your wedding has to be the most extravagant thing. You need to spend $1 million.
Social media has
just like killed it. And then these, I'm going to do some facts in a second about some celebrity weddings. I feel like those two, you see the Hailey Bieber weddings and, all this and then it makes you bummed. It's like, oh, wow, I wish my wedding was like that. It doesn't have to be like that. I was actually thinking about this the other day. There could have been like a clown at my wedding and I probably wouldn't have noticed because you're so focused on just your husband and having a good time.
Yep.
Like I feel like I don't even remember sitting at my sweetheart table. I couldn't even tell you what was on it if I didn't plan it. I mean, I have the pictures, but it's really, of course, plan your day how you want and make it the perfect and most amazing day ever, but don't stress over every single little detail because it's at the end of the day, what matters most is you and your husband getting married or husband and wife and whoever and having your friends, family, and just bringing that together and enjoying your time together. And that's all that matters, in my opinion. So but I thought it'd be fun to do a little average wedding cost and some fun facts. So in America Today, we actually asked on our Instagram a few weeks ago what the average wedding cost was in Arizona, but I think it pretty much in general. And how much do you think it was, like in America Today?
I kind of know this answer.
Okay, that's fine.
Is it 33,000?
Yes, 33,000. Yeah, which I was thinking about it, and I think, I mean, not to you, but I'm pretty sure I spent about, like with everything, about $33,000 on our wedding.
Yep.
Which is like insane to think about.
It's
like crazy.
I have people who want a smaller budget than that.
Yeah.
And it's doable.
I was going to say, do you feel like it's doable?
33,000 is pretty typical.
Yeah.
So.
And that's like an average, like normal. Nothing like Hailey Bieber or anything like that. Nothing crazy. And then the average dress cost, like a wedding dress, how much do you think?
Ooh. $2,500. Mm-hmm. Is it really?
Yeah,
I was going to say 3,000, but then I felt like that was maybe too high.
I know. Yeah. 2,500. And I would say, I feel like I keep bringing myself up. Obviously, I just got married, but I think mine was like 2,500.
Okay.
But then the
Yours
extra,
was beautiful.
Thank you so much. But then the extra add-on for the alterations made it almost 4,000. So just think about that too. And then some fun like celebrity things. Obviously, we know the celebrities go all out for the weddings.
Yep.
Who do you think has the most expensive engagement ring, and how much do you think it costs?
Are they still currently married?
I think so, yes.
I was going to say Jennifer Lopez, but I don't think she's...
said, and they're done.
That is no
for like
more.
the 5th time, so...
Sorry, J-Lo.
Sorry, J-Lo. Bennifer's over.
And is it Hailey Bieber?
No.
Is it a Kardashian?
No. I'm surprised actually it's not a Kardashian because they like go all out.
Yeah. I have no idea.
It's Mariah Carey, and her wedding ring costs $10 million.
Okay. I guess that's what happens when you sing the Christmas anthem.
I know. It is. Okay. One sec. Who do you think has the most expensive wedding, like all together? Like a celebrity couple?
Is it an Indian couple?
No. I think it is, like, realistically, like, because they have, like, over, I think there was,
Is it a Jonas brother?
No.
Okay.
I'll give you one more guess. You were talking about them earlier.
Is it a Kardashian?
Yes.
Was it Kim?
Yes.
Who did she marry?
It was when she married Kanye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We said, okay. We said, yep. And theirs came out to $2.8 million.
That's how much their wedding cost?
Yes. I think they got, well, actually, I mean, do you watch the Kardashians at all?
I haven't in a long time.
Okay. Like, if anyone watches the Kardashians, you know the Kim and Kourtney debacle of, like, she got married in Italy and then she got married in Italy, that whole thing. So I'm not surprised. I know they did Italy and it looked super bougie, so.
Okay.
And last one, the most expensive wedding dress in the celebrity world.
Ooh. Was it like, do I have to guess how much it was or do I have to guess the celebrity?
You can, whichever one. If you want to do, if you want to guess how much do you think? We'll switch it up. How much do you think like the most expensive?
$500,000.
$3.5 million.
Who the heck?
And I said, and who am I? I'm crying over here over 4,000. Like what? Yeah, 3.5 million, and it was Serena Williams.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Good for her.
I know. I love that for her. I don't even like spending $30 on a t-shirt. So I'm so,
hey, tennis paid off.
I mean, hey, she said, you know what? We said, you know what? Hell yeah. Pop
Go
off, queen.
Serena.
I know. Jeez. I mean, I guess I wish I could spend 3.5 million, but that's just
I'm like happy for her.
I know. I'm honestly kind of jealous.
Mad about this.
I know. I can't even be pissed. Like,
yeah, she freaking deserved it.
I know.
So you know what? Do your thing, Serena.
You know what? You spend $3.5 million
You
on
go
the
get it, girl.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, do you have anything else for today?
I do have one more thing.
Okay.
How do you feel? I know we talked a little bit, but how do you feel about like the traditions of weddings and like paying and costs like that? How do you think?
I think it's so funny because the reason, the history behind it is the dowry is the gift that the bride's parents would pay to the couple. So if that's them paying for the wedding, if that was historically giving them land or a house or animals, that was how the bride's family covered the cost. So that's why today we see this tradition of the bride's family pays for all of this stuff because of the history of the dowry.
Yeah.
There was also a thing called the bride price, and that was where the groom, the bride's family would either give money, land, animal, or service to the bride's family for the groom to marry the bride. Even back to if the groom didn't come from money, he would have to provide like service on their land, like as a servant. Yes.
Oh, they said you better put in that work.
Correct. So that was what the bride price was. And then the dowry, just some fun facts. So that's why the history of the bride's family pays for it is because
it's giving Bridgerton.
yes. And super interesting. This is actually still happening in today's world in other cultures. So
like that same tradition?
Correct. So the bride price and the dowry is still something that many cultures still do to this day. So we will be respectful of those cultures.
Wow, that's awesome.
And that is still a thing.
Wow.
So
super cool.
But I would not advise it in America because that is not something we do. So please, if somebody's offering a goat for you for your marriage,
please
send us a DM. Let's not do that.
We're not going to be doing that today.
So not here in America.
No.
So, but respect the other cultures that do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, awesome. We have some really exciting episodes coming up. We have some phenomenal guests. So be sure to join us on the next episode of The Wedding Hive, bringing you the tea and all the buzz in the wedding world. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.